our handyman came over to help me. I was working on our barn studio where I do my recording, and he was talking with me and wanting to know about my ministry. And I said, well, you know, a lot of it is right now in our study of the book of Revelation. And he said, oh, no. My pastor has openly told us from the pulpit he will never teach us from the book of Revelation because it's too scary. I get that from a lot of people. I think in virtually every other place, whenever I'm traveling and speaking, that somebody will either make the mention or take me to the side and say, I don't like the book of Revelation. I don't like talking about these things of eternity because they're too scary. Now, I can understand the magnificence of the Lord, and it's very intimidating. But I want to show you something when we go into the scripture, and those people in the Bible that have stepped on the threshold of the celestial, of the presence of God, or an angelic visitor, or Christ himself in his deity, what happened? Let's start like Daniel chapter 10. Look in verse 12 and 19. Daniel is having a vision, and this vision is intimidating to him, and suddenly he has an angelic visitor showing up, and he is absolutely terrified. 2 times in 12 and 19, the angel says, don't be afraid, Daniel. Do not be afraid. Listen, Daniel, the moment, the day that it became evident that your heart was wanting to understand more about Yahweh and wanting to come to God with a humble heart, oh, your voice was heard. Don't be afraid. Now, here is the vision, and here's where we go from here, all right? He was told, you have been pursuing, so there's no reason for you to be afraid. You're on God's side. You're in God's family of understanding. And here's where we go from here. Now you go over to Matthew 17. Peter, James, and John, they're pursuing. They want to know more about Jesus in his heavenly presentation. They go to the venue of what we know as the Mount of Transfiguration. When he shows his Shekinah heavenly glory, they're terrified. The voice comes down from heaven in verses 5 through 7. This is my beloved son. You hear him. They fall down almost comatose. What happens afterward? Jesus touches them and says, don't be afraid. Gentlemen, now that you've seen his, we have some work to do. Again, you've pursued me. You are blessed. No reason to be afraid. I'm not against you. And here's the reason why. After this, don't be afraid because we have some work to do. Let's continue this talk. There's something very intriguing here.